Let's set the stage. Washington, D.C., where political drama is always in style. The city's marble halls and echoing chambers have seen their share of power struggles, scandals, and headline-grabbing moments. It's a place where every day brings a new story, and every politician is just one press conference away from the national spotlight. In the middle of it all is James Comer, a Republican congressman from Kentucky. He's not just another face in the crowd. He's become a key player in the nation's political theater, known for his sharp questions and relentless pursuit of answers. But Comer isn't just any congressman. He's chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Congress's top investigative body. This committee is tasked with digging into the biggest issues of the day, from government spending to high-profile scandals. As chairman, Comer leads high-profile investigations, calls hearings, and subpoenas witnesses. He's the one setting the agenda, deciding which questions get asked, and who has to answer them under oath. It's a job that puts him at the center of controversy, demanding answers from the most powerful people in the country. The spotlight is intense and the stakes are high. Every word, every decision can make headlines. On January 15, 2026, Comer was front and center, ready for another big moment. The air was thick with anticipation as reporters gathered, waiting to see what revelations might come next. He had his notes, his Republican colleagues, and a message for the nation. This wasn't just another routine update. It was a carefully orchestrated event, designed to capture attention and set the tone for what was to follow. The setting, a classic DC press conference, podium, microphones, cameras everywhere. Journalists jockeyed for position, eager to catch every word and every gesture. The plan announced the committee's next steps in a major investigation. The stakes were clear. This was about accountability, transparency, and the pursuit of truth, no matter where it led. But in Washington, nothing ever goes exactly as planned. Even the most carefully choreographed moments can be upended in an instant, turning routine events into breaking news. The Oversight Committee's job is accountability, holding the powerful to account, no matter who they are. It's a responsibility that comes with pressure, scrutiny, and the constant possibility of the unexpected. For Comer, this was just another day at the office. He's used to the pressure, the cameras, and the endless questions. But even for a seasoned politician, surprises can lurk around every corner. He was ready for tough questions, but not for what was about to unfold just a few feet away. In politics, you can prepare for almost anything, except the truly unpredictable. Sometimes the real drama isn't in the script, it's in the surprises. And in Washington, those surprises can change everything in a matter of seconds. Why the press conference? 2 words: the Clintons. Their absence was more than just a scheduling conflict. It was a statement, and it sent shockwaves through the halls of Congress and the press corps alike. The committee was deep into its investigation of Jeffrey Epstein's sprawling network, and Bill and Hillary Clinton had been formally subpoenaed for a deposition. Their testimony was expected to be a pivotal moment in the inquiry. But when the day arrived, the seats reserved for the Clintons sat empty, a direct challenge to Congress's authority, and a move that left lawmakers fuming and the public demanding answers. Chairman Comer had a plan: announce contempt of Congress proceedings against the Clintons, a serious escalation that could mean hefty fines or even jail time if they continued to defy the subpoenas. He would lay out the facts for the cameras and the country. The Clintons were called, they refused, and Congress would not back down in the face of such defiance. Now there would be consequences. The message was clear. Ignoring a congressional subpoena would not be tolerated, no matter how powerful the individual. Comer also planned to announce a deposition for Ghislaine Maxwell, another key figure whose testimony could shed light on the darkest corners of the Epstein case. The underlying message was unmistakable. No one, not even the most well-connected, is above the law. Congress was determined to prove it. Reporters packed the room, ready for a headline-grabbing showdown about congressional power, accountability, and the rule of law. But as Comer prepared to speak, tension crackled in the air. No one expected what would actually steal the spotlight that day. The script, meticulously prepared, was about to be thrown out the window, replaced by chaos and surprise. In Washington, D.C., even the best laid plans can unravel in seconds, leaving everyone scrambling to keep up. The focus was about to shift dramatically. What happened next would change the narrative, and no one in that room would forget it. The press conference started as planned. Comer at the podium, cameras rolling, the room tense. He began outlining the case against the Clintons. Then, out of nowhere, a man's voice boomed from the crowd, interrupting everything. The heckler, a self-described citizen reporter, demanded, "Did you enter their sworn statements into the record?" The question challenged the entire premise of the event. Suddenly, the controlled environment was shattered. Comer froze mid-sentence. The room buzzed with confusion. The heckler was informed, relentless, and impossible to ignore. The mood shifted from formal to confrontational in seconds. Comer's press conference had been hijacked. The focus was no longer on the Clintons, it was on the loud man in the crowd. The event spiraled into chaos and the world was watching. Sometimes all it takes is one voice to change everything. Comer tried to ignore the heckler, but it didn't work. Instead, he fired back, "You're a paid disruptor." Suddenly, this wasn't just a disruption, it was a political battle. Comer accused the Clintons of orchestrating the chaos, painting the heckler as an enemy agent. The heckler shot back, "I'm not paid, you're paid by the people." The exchange turned into a verbal duel, each side trading blows. The room was electric. Reporters now had a front row seat to a showdown. The original purpose of the press conference was lost in the shouting. The drama had taken over, and there was no turning back. The air was thick with hostility, and the cameras caught every second. In the middle of the chaos, Representative Tim Burchett stepped up. Known for his humor, Burchett saw a chance to break the tension. He quipped, "Hey, the Cartoon Network called. They want you to take your job back." The room paused. Then a few laughs broke through the noise. For a moment, the shouting stopped. Burchett's joke was a classic political move. Use humor to regain control. It didn't silence the heckler, but it changed the tone, briefly. The confrontation quickly resumed, but the joke became a memorable soundbite. Even in chaos, a well-timed punchline can steal the show. The levity was fleeting, but it showed the different ways politicians handle pressure. The shouting soon returned, but Burchett's quip lingered. The shouting continued, and Comer had had enough. Realizing the event was lost, he called for security. Capitol Police moved in as Comer and his colleagues walked away from the podium. The heckler pressed forward, getting close to Comer. Tension spiked. Officers quickly intervened, creating a barrier and preventing escalation. The sight of police stepping in underscored how quickly things had unraveled. The officers took the heckler aside, checked his ID, and gave a stern warning. No arrests, but the message was clear. The chaos had crossed a line. The press conference was over, but the spectacle was just beginning. Security's intervention ended the confrontation, but the damage was done. What was meant to be routine had become a cautionary tale. With security handling the heckler, the press conference ended abruptly. No closing statement, no Q&A, just a hasty retreat. Comer and his team left the stage, visibly frustrated. The event meant to project strength ended in chaos. Reporters scrambled to make sense of what they'd witnessed. The story was no longer about the Clintons. It was about the shouting match and the police intervention. Comer's message was lost, buried under the spectacle. The footage of chaos would dominate the news cycle. In politics, perception is everything, and this was a PR disaster. The only thing people remembered was the chaos, not the content. On that day, two press conferences unfolded, one meticulously planned, and the other, the one that actually happened, spiraling out of control before anyone could stop it. The original plan was simple. Comer would step up to the podium, announce contempt proceedings against the Clintons, and send a clear message of authority, determination, and unity to the nation. The stage was set for a display of power, with officials standing confidently behind him, ready to reinforce the narrative of congressional strength. But reality had other ideas. Instead of a controlled announcement, the event quickly devolved into a shouting match. Accusations flew across the room. Journalists clamored for answers, and the scene erupted into a viral moment of pure chaos that no one could have predicted. The headlines that followed didn't focus on congressional authority or decisive action. Instead, they captured the breakdown of order, highlighting the confusion and disorder that had taken over what was supposed to be a carefully managed event. The intended message, one of strength and resolve, was completely overshadowed. The spectacle, with its dramatic confrontations and shocked reactions, became the story itself, leaving the original purpose lost in the noise. In the aftermath, political analysts dissected the event, pointing to it as a textbook example of how quickly a political narrative can be hijacked by unexpected events and raw emotions. Rather than projecting strength, the committee inadvertently revealed its vulnerability. Frustration and worry were written across the faces of those who had hoped to control the story. The contrast between the imagined, orderly press conference and the chaotic reality was striking, a vivid reminder of how quickly things can change. In today's world of instant news and social media, control is more fragile than ever. All it takes is a single interruption, a moment of disorder, and the entire narrative can unravel in seconds. The lesson is clear. Even the most carefully crafted message, rehearsed and planned for weeks, can be upended in the blink of an eye by the unpredictable nature of live events. The tale of these two press conferences serves as a vivid snapshot of today's unpredictable political landscape, where chaos and order are always just a heartbeat apart. What does this chaos say about our politics? Deep polarization means confrontation is the new normal. The heckler saw himself as holding power to account, not just causing trouble. Social media and citizen journalism have blurred the lines. Anyone can create a viral moment. Disruption is now a shortcut to attention and influence, but democracy depends on civil discourse, not shouting matches. When substance is drowned out by spectacle, everyone loses. Trust in institutions erodes, and real problems go unsolved. The challenge passionate disagreement without chaos. We need less shouting, more listening, a simple idea, but harder than ever to achieve.